What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to World of Matchups. My name is Dexter Reed, and I will be your host this week and every week moving forward, breaking down every single matchup in the National Football League from today till Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you for tuning in on whatever platform you're watching from, whether it be Grab It or YouTube. To my right, we have super producer Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say hello to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
Boy, the National Football League is flying by. Every week I sit in this seat, I feel like we just sat in the seat the week before. Week number 5. So let's start by talking about what happened last night in the National Football League. I don't love these Thursday night games, but so far the NFL's gotten them right, and they've been actually kind of competitive and entertaining to watch. The Los Angeles Rams go to Seattle. They face the Seattle Seahawks in what I thought would be a pretty comfortable win for the Los Angeles Rams. They were minus 2.5. I took them. They hit. The over-under was 53.5. I took the over. It did not. I digress. We won the game, and I'm happy about that. Mathew Stafford. This has been the story. Mathew Stafford was a little bit erratic, but still throws for 365, still gets the win, still looks good. You know, Robert Woods looks great. This big bomb to Deshaun Jackson, stretching the field. The Rams, I'm telling you folks, they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. With that defense, Aaron Donald looking strong, you know, Jalen Ramsey on the back end, they're going to win a lot of games this year, and I feel like grabbing Mathew Stafford was absolutely the right move. Look at that. Aaron Donald just threw Russell Wilson around like a child. My goodness, that guy's an absolute mammoth. The Seattle Seahawks in a bit of trouble. Russ goes down with a dislocated finger. In comes Geno Smith, who actually did not look bad for the early part of the game, but then tried to do a little bit too much, throws the pick here. I feel like this is the turning point of the game. The game was pretty much out of reach at this point. The Rams are pretty much too good of a team at that point to let this one slip away, and they come away with a resounding 26, I believe it was 17 or 19 point, final, something like that. So, moving forward, we have to really take the Rams seriously. Okay, I know they got their doors blown off last week versus Arizona. Every now and then in the National Football League, this kind of thing will happen to a team at home after a big win. There'll be that kind of letdown. But I think if this defense and this offense continues to click on all cylinders, they're going to go deep into the playoffs. Now, I'm wearing a jersey, and you know what this means. It is time to roast the refs.
Quarterback's arm.
No, God! No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete. No flag.
No!
Folks, every single week, multiple egregious calls are being made in the National Football League. Some are deciding games, some are not, but it makes me wonder how often these refs are getting their eyes checked. This week, one of my favorite players, Joey Bosa, absolutely went on a rant after Monday Night Football about the refs. Play this clip, Spencer.
I didn't even know they called the penalty on me because I was fuming, but, I mean, refs are blind. Simple. I'm sorry, but you're blind. Like, open your eyes and do your job. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. I mean, look at the play. Sack, game over. 15 yards, it's a big deal. Obviously, that's on me. I should never lose my control like that. But these guys have got to do a better job because it's been years of terrible missed calls left and right. It's really pathetic, honestly. But pathetic on me, too, for doing what I did. Call or not, I have to take a step back and just go to the next play. But, man, they just seem to not even have their eyes open half the time.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. And I wish more players would come out and not fear the fines that would be levied and speak out a bit about how bad these refs are, because these calls are egregious. They're absolutely horrific. Let's roll this one. This is the first one. Taunting call on Darren Waller. Same game. Okay? He slams the ball down. He's not looking at anyone. He's not targeting anyone. He's fired up. He's been held in check to this point. He catches a pass between two Charger defenders, and they throw a taunting penalty at him. Why? Who is he taunting? If that is taunting in the National Football League, no games would ever get finished. Guys are spiking balls all over the place. My goodness, I watched Tyreek Hill do a backflip in the end zone the other day. Where was the flag? Taunting? That's absolutely ridiculous. Look, you refs, we're coming for you. Every single week, we're going to continue to roast you until this nonsense stops. Next. Let's roll T.J. Watt tripping Aaron Rodgers. Aaron in the pocket, he just gets flat out tripped. No one says a word. I mean, if you can't tackle a guy, is tripping okay, Spencer? The last time I checked, you have to tackle a guy. This is Aaron Rodgers, okay? You have to put some respect on this guy's name. You cannot trip Aaron Rodgers and get away with it in Green Bay. My goodness. Come on, refs. You got to see that. And then finally, one of my favorite ones. Look at this soft penalty on Chase Young. This is called roughing the passer, folks. That's roughing the passer. Since when is Matt Ryan Tom Brady? Can somebody tell me? That is ridiculous. No wonder Chase Young has no sacks. He can't sack anybody because if he does, they're going to throw the flag. Look, the NFL's got a huge problem on their hands. And now you're hearing players like Joey Bosa speak up about how bad it is. I mean, we understand the human element of the game. You might miss a call here. You might miss a call there. But there's nobody on God's green earth that can convince me that the NFL is not scripted, that it's not predicated on money. And a lot of times they're making these calls knowing that they're making the wrong call. And a lot of them are going to New York and being looked at, and they're still getting it wrong. I mean, Helen Keller can see some of these calls being made wrong. It's ridiculous. So, until you guys get your act together, we're going to be here roasting you. And that's all I have to say about that.
And that's the bottom line. What? Because Stone Cold said so.
All right, everybody, it's time for the game breakdowns. 37-27 on the season against the spread Thursday night. Straight winners Sunday and Monday. Last night we hit as well, and we are off to a good start after being 9-7 last week. We always prefer double digits, but I took some chances last week that I probably shouldn't have taken. But all in all, we're well over 500, and that's all you can ask for here at World of Matchups. So, early games. We're going to go over the pond. Jets and Falcons. So the Jets upset the Titans last week. The Titans, that's an egregious loss. My goodness. And they get their first win, okay? I see the Jets winning here again. I can't even believe I'm going to say it, but I'm taking the Jets simply because it's a neutral field. Atlanta's going to lose this game after losing at home last week versus the Washington football team in a terrible loss at home. I think that with Matt Ryan having Pitts as pretty much his only target here, no Ridley because of personal reasons, Kyle Pitts should finally eat. If he doesn't eat this game at this point, it's just him being a true tight end first-round bust. Nobody will be able to talk me off that. So, Cordarrelle Patterson should continue his ascension and have, his hot streak, just not even consider being cool. He's just been one of the hottest players in the National Football League to this point.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
However, I think that with Calvin Ridley being such a huge integral part of that offense, that they're going to miss him too much, and it's going to show. I think the Falcons are in trouble. Look for Zach Wilson to hook up with Corey Davis here a lot. He likes Corey Davis. He keys in on him, and now you have Jamison Crowder back. It should make for enough if Michael Carter can, keep the chains moving on the ground to secure a Jet win on a neutral field. I'm taking them here. I'm not taking them with confidence, but this is what I know. After you lose for so many games in a row and then you finally get a win, it galvanizes the team. And I think the Jets have enough here to beat a Falcons team that's aging with no defense, that's missing Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley. Take the Jets and roll. One thing about that game as well that's super important to note that Spencer and I were just talking about, these London games. I hate these games more than the Thursday night games. Did you know since the inception of these games in 2007, they have not produced two winning teams playing each other? It's always like Jacksonville versus the Jets, or just like the worst teams they send over there. And so no one can tell me that this is not about showcasing the NFL, because you're never sending anything good over there. This is about money, which is the only thing the National Football League is about. Rant over. Now, next. The Saints at the Washington football team. This is going to be a tough one to call. The Saints lost a horrible game at home last night versus the Giants. Daniel Jones threw for 400 yards in that game. My goodness, that's unbelievable. And this is not going to be a walk in the park either, okay? I do think the Saints will win this game because of the X factor, Taysom Hill. They're starting to get Taysom Hill involved. We know what Jameis is. We know what Jameis isn't. But the one-trick pony that is Taysom Hill will have something to say about how this game is played. You know, look for Kamara to be featured heavily. Boy, Alvin Kamara, man, he's fallen off a little bit. What's happening? Does Alvin Kamara miss Drew Brees or what, Spencer?
I think they just have QBs that really stink, so they're just stacking the box, and there's nothing they can do about it. Week 1 was a faux pas. The Packers were just not ready to play football this season. Everyone else is definitely ready to play football. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, no matter what the game script is here, Alvin Kamara has to be the focal point of this offense, or they could drop this game. Washington football team is going to have big games from Terry McLaurin, who's having a wonderful season, Gibson and Heineke, who both aren't awful, but they're good enough to win. In their building, with that defense, they should win. They should try. They should at least be in this game. I'm not going to say they're going to win it. I still think the Saints will pull it out, but they should be competitive. And their back-end secondary to this point has not been competitive, so I'm looking for more from them. But the bottom line is that Washington football team has been a letdown on defense to this point, and so I'm going to take the Saints. I'm not taking them with confidence. I'm just taking them more because I think they're going to finally realize what they have in Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill and let these guys be unleashed. Hopefully I'm right. Next, Packers at the Bengals. I was telling Spencer before we got started here that this is going to be the hardest pick for me to make all season long, or to this point. There's so many different storylines and ways that this could go. It's like flipping a coin. So, both teams are ascending and feeling good, but this is going to be a game that the Packers win. Now, this is what I've been thinking all week long. But then I turn around and think that the Bengals will win this game. And then I think that the Packers will win this game. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when I struggle with this, I always come up with the big difference maker, the best player in the field, which will be Aaron Rodgers. While the Bengals are growing defensively, they simply do not have the personnel to stop Adams or Jones. They just don't. Now, I think the best bet is the over here because there's going to be balls in there all day. They're going to score a ton. Joe Mixon is banged up. Is Joe Mixon ever healthy? My goodness, I love you, Joe Mixon, but please get it together. I want to root for you so bad, and you're always, always hurt. Low ankle sprain. They're going to run him out there Saturday, test it, see how he does. If he can go Sunday, he will. If not, you're going to see a lot of Chris Evans and Samaje Perine. But the bottom line is that Joe Burrow will have to be Hercules to stay with A-Rod. Okay? You got the old lion, and you got the young lion. Jair Alexander is out with a sprained AC joint. Kevin King is a bum. That spells doom and gloom for that Packers secondary. T. Higgins is going to play more than likely, so the arrow is up on the Bengals. Don't expect much defense in this game. So just as I was talking about this one, Spence, and I was going to take the Packers here, you know, we at World of Matchups, we are not scared to make hot takes. We at World of Matchups, we are not scared to put it on film so you can go back and look at what we said. We make bold bets with our balls all day, every day. And so because of the fact that that secondary in the Packers is so banged up, because of the fact that Joe Mixon may not play, and a lot of teams, that would be a huge loss, but for them, I think it will be a gain. And I think Joe Burrow might have to throw for 400 yards to win this game, but with Jamar Chase, who I failed to mention and should be publicly caned for doing so, with T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd is one of the most slept-on wide receivers in the whole National Football League, and they're home, I am now flipping my choice and taking the Cincinnati Bengals here because while A-Rod and the Packers did go to San Francisco and steal a win, they barely stole that win versus an offense that you take Deebo Samuel off, and they are absolutely horrendous. This team's loaded with firepower. This team is ascending. I like Joe Burrow. I might break up with Justin Herbert, or I may double date Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow at the same time. Joe Burrow, if you're listening, I'm showing you some love. I'm putting all my chips in the middle of the table. I'm changing my picks. Go Cats. Do not let me down. Let's roll. Lions at the Vikings. Man, I'm fired up right now.
You like that? You like that?
It's football. You got to be fired up.
Fired up right now.
We're in the teeth of the season now. All the jitters are out, and these are real football teams with real game plans. We've seen a good sample size of each team, and now it's time to see who's a contender and who's a pretender.
Put up or shut up, man. Week 5. This is you are who you are. Bill Parcells always said you are what your record says you are. I had a double shot of espresso in my coffee. I am ready to run through a wall.
Is that straight? Is that straight right there? Wait. See, I'll fix it. No. Is that straight? I can't.
Lions at Vikings. I took Detroit on a hunch last week, and I got played, so there's no way I'm taking them again. Minnesota burnt me too versus Cleveland, but they are home again, and their skill players are going to just be too superior to Detroit. Minnesota at 1-3. I've taken them every week. I don't think I've bet against them, and they've only hit for me one time. But I have to take them here. This is the type of game where I think they just blow Detroit out. T.J. Hawkinson is hurting. I think Madison, Thielen, Jefferson. I know Dalvin Cook is hurting as well, but Madison is an absolute monster. They don't miss a beat when Cook is out. Cook's another one of those running backs that you just got to know if you select him, he's getting hurt. There's certain guys that just get hurt. McCaffrey's hurt. Carson always hurt. Dalvin Cook always hurt. Mixon always hurt. The running back position, you just get banged up, okay? So, Madison, Thielen, Jefferson all eat. The Lions, to have any shot, they have to get Goff and Hawkinson on the same page, and I'm not even sure if T.J. Hawkinson's going to play. He's questionable right now. Swift needs to seed the ball more. None of this Williams stuff. Swift is the man. Feed this guy. Let this guy be CMC Jr. because he can. He can. But I'm still taking the Vikings yet again, and I'm holding my breath. It's not like I'm going to the stock market and dropping everything I have on these guys, but I think that at home versus the hapless Lions, they got to do better. They got to blow this team out and show us that they are a legit squad in their building. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl, but this is a team that you need to beat up on. 31-13 final. Let's see it. Let's go. Next, the Bum Bowl. Bunch of bums in this game.
Can there be a not game of the week?
Jeez. What a bunch of bums these guys are. Broncos at Steelers. God, it's how the mighty have fallen. The Steelers were 11-0 around this time, or last year. Not too long ago. They were just killing everybody. Now they're terrible. Okay, so the Broncos lost a hard-fought game to the Ravens. They lost starting quarterback, touchdown Teddy Bridgewater. He's concussed. In comes Drew Lock, who I believe is the worst quarterback in the league. Nobody will ever be able to talk me off that. I'd take Davis, Mills, Webb, whoever before this guy. I don't like Drew Lock. Never have, never will. So, he's bad. It's going to show on the road. Downgrade all your Broncos skill players because of it. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy's already hurt. They're going to run the ball a million times with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So, Big Ben is putrid, but they're desperate in Pittsburgh. I've met a couple Pittsburgh fans recently at the restaurant, and they just all say the same thing. It was time for Ben to go last year. And sometimes you could just hold on too long, Forget the swan song, man. It's time for you to retire. You have zero mobility. You're a statue back there. But I do think you'll find a way to get a win this week. Why? Because they will finally realize that they got the Alabama touchdown maker in Najee Harris and just give this guy the ball 1,000 times. It's just that simple. Mike Tomlin, if you're listening, what are you doing? Don't sprinkle this guy in. Feed this guy like Zeke circa 4 years ago. All right? I'm taking Pittsburgh here, but I'm not taking them with a lot of confidence. A lot of these picks I have this week could go either way because I'm not confident about very many of them. But I just can't see Drew Lock and Denver going there and winning. They went there last year, and I took Pittsburgh, and Denver backdoored me, but I'm just talking about straight winning right now. If there's a team that needs a win more than anyone in the National Football League right now to get their fans a little bit back to where they should be in that proud Steel City, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Denver, without touchdown Teddy, they're in big trouble. I know their defense is good, but Pittsburgh is not as bad as they look. It's just Ben. We're getting very close to the point of, should we bench Ben? I know it sounds crazy, but should we?
No, you're still holding on. Let go.
Something to think about. Next, Titans at Jags. Man, as I said that, I just had this vision of Derrick Henry running down the sideline 91 yards and stiff-arming the whole Jag team into oblivion. If you could find that clip, Spencer, and add that to this, I mean, it is just like, it's just insane. Now, 2 words. Urban Meyer. What an absolute embarrassment. You didn't think that you were going to get away with this. You didn't think I wasn't going to roast you. We're going to take a second and not talk about football. Urban Meyer, you're an absolute disgrace. How long have you been married? Now, I'm a man. I get it. But you can't be out there doing this and get caught. This is the internet. People got camera phones everywhere. I mean, I don't know a person that doesn't own a phone. What, did you think this wasn't going to surface? Come on, man. Be faithful to your wife. Don't do dirt out in public like this. Now, the whole franchise is against you. Your players are roasting you in the huddle. I mean, let me tell you something. If they could get out of this contract with Urban Meyer right now, they would. They absolutely would.
Here's the thing. I mean, you draft Trevor Lawrence first overall, and what do you give him? A rookie head coach who was out of football for a couple of years? Where's the decision process on that?
Terrible. And they've lost all respect, all faith, and all confidence. It's basically like a husband that cheats on his wife and gets caught. And now they're saying that he needs to gain our trust and gain our confidence. Let me tell you something. In football, when things like this happen, when there's dissension and disruptions, it translates onto the football field. And if the Jags weren't bad enough already, now they have this to deal with. I'm calling it right now, hot take. I don't see Urban Meyer finishing the season. I really don't. I think he was the wrong pick to begin with, and now Urban Meyer is going to almost hold this team hostage. And if I never saw a faker apology to a franchise, it was his apology too. It was unbelievably bad.
I just apologize to the team and staff and for being a distraction. It was stupid. And so I explained everything that happened and owned it, and, just stupid. Should not have myself in that kind of position.
It was fabricated. There was no remorse behind it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, let's talk about the game, okay? The Titans lost to the Jets. That's a disgraceful loss, but the Titans' defense is bad. They didn't have A.J. Brown. They didn't have Julio Jones. It is what it is. So now they're getting those guys back. They're expected to play. Like I said, there's a black cloud over the Jags franchise simply because of the Urban Meyer nonsense that's going on. He's lost all respect of even the players, okay? Trevor Lawrence will do okay because he's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's not going to be Joe Montana, but he's got some skills. There's a reason why he was a number 1 pick, and the Titans' defense is putrid. They can't stop anybody. So it's not looking good for them at all. But Derrick Henry is going to, once again, save Tennessee, and it's going to be touchdown Titans. He could have a monster day here. Derrick Henry is going to lead the league in rushing, and while I was talking about all those other running backs that are always hurt, they're always hurt, Derrick Henry is never hurt. Derrick Henry is just an absolute specimen. He's Myles Garrett as a running back, and it's going to make a difference. He'll stiff-arm the team into oblivion again, and he always eats versus Jacksonville. I'm taking Derrick Henry in the touchdown Titans.
Touchdown, Titans!
Next, Eagles at Panthers. Both teams are coming off really tough losses. Kansas City carved up Philly, and the Panthers got beat up by Dallas. But, it is what it is. They're really not that great on the road. Here comes CMC back. I think he'll play this week. That's going to be a huge boost for Carolina. Nick Sirianni has chosen not to run the ball enough, and protect his quarterback, Jalen Hurts. You have a rookie quarterback. You have to protect this guy. I think Sirianni's the wrong coach for Philly. You're making mistakes like this too early. You have to protect your QB, and he's just not able to do it. I expect DJ Moore to continue to add to his fantastic start, and Sam Darnold will expose a leaky Eagles defense, and it's going to show both on the ground and in the air. Sam Darnold has 5 touchdowns on the ground. Boy, Sam Darnold, what a difference a team makes. Seriously, the Jets, you guys blew it with this guy, and he is making you eat your words. Now, the arrow is trending up for Carolina, especially with Stephon Gilmore on the way, which was a huge pickup. Dude, Carolina, quietly, is having a wonderful season. They're losing the games they're supposed to lose. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, but they're setting themselves up for the future. I really like what they're doing there. What do you think, Spencer?
Next year, they will have C.J. Henderson, J.C. Horn, and Stephon Gilmore as their defensive back. A full
Studs.
year. You don't know what's going to happen this season, obviously. It's very hard to integrate a corner like that or like any defensive player, a starting guy. But going into the offseason, all 3 of those guys have a full offseason. That's the deepest corner group in the NFL.
It's going to be one of the best. All signed, all under contract. If they could just ever get Robbie Anderson involved, you know what I mean? If you can just get that home run threat involved, people who sleep on this team will be losing games, both on the road and in their building. I'm taking Carolina, and I'm taking them big. I don't like the Eagles at all this year. Next, Miami at Tampa Bay. Tampa could be ripe for a letdown after a huge win in Foxborough last week, but Miami is bad, and they're getting worse daily. Remember a couple weeks ago I said after that loss that could be their swan song. And, I just saw a toilet bowl circling down with the Miami logo going in it. I mean, they're on their way to being done. Will Fuller has just been placed on IR. There's never been a more hurt player in the history of the National Football League than Will Fuller, and Gaskin is basically being phased out of the offense, okay, in favor of Malcolm Brown. Tampa will simply be too much for them. Tampa Bay, even injured, beat up Tampa Bay back end, Gronk being beat up, it doesn't matter. They're going to destroy this team. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and that defense is all you're going to need. They're going to eat. This should be an easy win for a team that can't pass versus a team that cannot pass well. Jacoby Brissett is going to be like a deer in the headlights. Take Tampa all day and twice on Sunday. Next, Patriots at the Texans. I'm not sure where the Patriots are going here after a soul-crushing loss at home to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. Okay, I'm a big Bill Belichick supporter, and me and Peter last week we talked on the Game of the Week breakdown about how I feel about Bill. But I believe that Mac Jones played well enough last week. He wasn't Mahomes, but he played well enough last week to keep the ball in that guy's hands and let him go win the game. It is inclement weather. It's downpouring. The balls are slick. Guys are dropping the balls, and you attempt a 56-yard field goal at the end of the game to try to win it. That was one of the most horrific calls I have ever seen Bill Belichick make. I think it was based on ego, it was based on emotion, and it was based on lack of faith in Mac Jones. That's the type of thing that can send this team into a downward spiral. So, to me, it made no sense. Here we are now. We're going to get right against the Texans. Why? Because the Texans are god-awful. So, Damian Harris and Jacoby Myers, they're going to have big games. The Texans are flat out gross, and they should continue to not be competitive. Bill Belichick is not losing to the Texans. It's at the end of the day, forget everything I just said. Bill Belichick is not losing to the Texans. I have spoken. Next. We're going to do a commercial break here, kids. We're going to come back with the late games. We're going to talk a little bit about what our game of the week is. We're going to talk a little bit about who our player to watch is. My name is Dexter Eats. Stay tuned. We're coming back right after this commercial break. Welcome back to the show. Our Player to Watch segment this week is sponsored by Insurance Lounge. Finding an insurance plan that is right for you and your budget can be challenging. At Insurance Lounge, we can help you compare home, auto, life, health, and more insurance policies to find the one that works best for you. Our experts help make the insurance purchasing experience easy and fun. Whether you're looking to help your teenager get their first insurance plan or you're hoping to start a retirement assistance, Insurance Lounge has you covered. Get a quote today in the most convenient way for you, whether in person, online, or by calling our team at 866-459-2166. InsuranceLounge.com. Check them out. Now, welcome back to this week's Player to Watch segment. Folks, this week's Player to Watch is going to be none other than Mr. DJ Moore, wide receiver of the Carolina Panthers. Folks, has there been a more slept-on wide receiver in the last 3 or 4 years than DJ Moore? Nobody quietly has 1,000 yards more than DJ Moore. Nobody. And this year, he is breaking out. The addition of Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers has worked wonders for this player. And while they went and gave $30 million to Robbie Anderson, he's practically non-existent. Why? Because DJ Moore is always open. DJ Moore runs good routes. DJ Moore has good hands. Just look at some of these plays that he's making. This is versus a good defense. Every week he seems to ball out, whether it's DFS, whether it's fantasy football. You have to start him every week. This is a player on the come-up. Now, he doesn't score a ton of touchdowns, which is why I think he's kind of flown under the radar, but you have to look at what this guy does with the ball in his hands, and Matt Rule is getting the most out of him. Let me read this stat to you that I saw online the other day about DJ Moore that is just absolutely fantastic. During Panthers training camp in 2019, Cam Newton was trying to roast DJ Moore, okay, saying he was not a real wide receiver. He's just kind of developing. Since he said that, DJ Moore has had 2,766 receiving yards. That's been fourth most in the National Football League, and 2,847 yards from scrimmage, second most among wide receivers. But it seems like we're always talking about Hopkins. It seems like we're always talking about Tyreek. It seems like we're always talking about Devontae. Now, you know I'm no stranger to giving props to people. If you are deserving of your flowers on World of Matchups, we're going to send them to you, bouquet of roses, all day, every day. And not only do I love DJ Moore, I love the fact that he's on my fantasy team and he's eating, but he's finally bringing a Carolina offense to the next level. It can't just be all about Christian McCaffrey. They need help, and help has been called, and it's now on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, give your flowers to this week's player to watch, Mr. DJ Moore. Now, late games. Browns at the Chargers. Big wins for both teams last week. I think the Chargers' passing attack is going to be a deciding factor here. Justin Herbert, man. We need to double date with Joey Bosa. We really do. You guys are looking fantastic. I'm telling you, I told people in the AFC breakdown that the Chargers were a team to watch in the AFC. They could easily win this division if they continue this pace that they're on. I think they're ready to roll after emotional Monday night victory over Vegas. The Browns' secondary is going to get absolutely roasted by Allen and Williams. Myles Garrett is a one-man wrecking crew. I understand that. The guy got drug tested just for going sleeveless. That's all you need to know. I mean, there's Aaron Donald, and then there's Myles Garrett. The guy is unbelievable. But I think that the Chargers, I was just about to call them the San Diego Chargers. To me, will they always be the San Diego Superchargers to you? Because they always will be to me. You want to talk about a team that got a raw deal, Spencer? It was San Diego.
They're going to go back to San Diego. Not soon at any point, but in my lifetime, they will be back in San Diego. No one accepts them in L.A.
Nobody.
People barely accept the Rams.
Folks.
Let alone two teams.
Did you see that game Monday night? It looked like a Raider home game. Anytime a visiting team goes to, what is it called, SoFi Stadium in L.A., there is more visiting teams fans there than Charger fans. There's no real Charger fans in L.A. They got a raw deal. And San Diego, shame on you. That Spanos family, shame on you. You need to take them back and then some. Now, I think Baker Mayfield's partially torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. It's going to make a difference. I don't care what you're saying. It's not. Well, it's not his throwing motion arm. That's an injury. That's an injury that everyone knows about. And we know you're getting the needle before the game, but someone's going to catch you wrong, and that's going to be it for you. And without Baker Mayfield, we know that Browns team's not the same. Chubb and Hunt, yes, but like you need to throw the ball to win. You know what I mean? It's run for dough, throw for show. But at the end of the game, you got to be able to put the ball in the end zone to win. I don't think it'll be enough here. I think the Chargers are ascending. I think people who haven't found out about Justin Herbert yet, they're going to find out this week. You're all going to learn today. This guy's the next great quarterback in the National Football League. I'm taking L.A. Next, Bears at the Raiders. Justin Fields has finally been named the starter moving forward. The over-under for me seeing that happen was week 4. I was a week late. Matt Nagy announced that yesterday. I believe that wasn't his decision to make. I believe that came from the top. I believe that they basically said, do you like coaching this team? And he's like, well, yeah. And they were like, well, you're going to be starting Justin Fields from now on, period, end of statement. And that was that. Matt Nagy, he's another guy. To me, he's on the same boat that Urban Meyer is on. Like, they can float out into the middle of the ocean and never be seen again. I hate this guy, and I hate what he's doing to players like A-Rob, who is just languishing in Chicago. It's really sad to watch. Now, the egomaniac who run this team, Matt Nagy, he's going to make some decisions this week that are going to cost the Bears again. Vegas lost a tough-fought game. Derek Carr made a couple mistakes, didn't look great. I think they come home. I think they get right here. I think they're going to shine. I think Waller eats big, okay? Carr to Waller is going to be a thing this week. You can bank on that. And I think that it's time for the Raiders to get back to being the Raiders, okay? The type of team that they run Josh Jacobs 20 times, they pound you up the middle, they soften you up, and then with the play action, they kill you deep. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do, and expect them to throw the house at Justin Fields. Ngakoue, you're going to see a lot of Mad Max. They're going to come after this kid, as they should. Let's see what this rookie can do. Now, we know Justin Fields can throw the ball downfield. We know Justin Fields is talented, but this is a hostile environment he's going to have to play in. The Raiders know they can't drop 2 in a row right now. No team in the AFC West can drop 2 in a row right now. No team. That is the hottest contested division in football right now, and so the Raiders are going to be ripe to get these guys beat up on Sunday, and they're going to be my best bet. I'm taking Vegas here to win this game. I can't see Chicago winning this game on the road. I know they won last week, but Vegas is not the Lions. And I think that while I'm no lover of Chucky at all, he's done a good job, man. You can say what you want about me, but when someone does a good job, I give them their props. I don't care what team I root for. I try to be a neutral fan when I come on here and not a fanboy. And he's done well so far. He's made a couple mistakes, but for the most part, I think the Raiders will be 4-1. Take them with confidence and roll on Sunday. Next, the 49ers at the Cardinals. Boys, they're a team that needs a W like the San Francisco 49ers. They got to have this right now. What happens, Spencer, what happens to the Niners right now if they lose this game?
Can you think of a worse situation? You desperately need a win, and then you go play Arizona.
In Arizona with Trey Lance, who, again, like Justin Fields, they're giving this guy his shot. This is what I don't understand about you coaches. Why are you waiting for these quarterbacks to get hurt? You drafted these rookies. You drafted them with confidence. Throw them out there and let them spin. Do you know how much better Justin Fields would be right now if he started from day one? Do you know how much better Trey Lance would be if he started from day one? And I like Garoppolo. I think Andy Dalton's a bum, but I like Garoppolo. But we all know that Garoppolo's getting hurt. It's like a rite of passage. It's like a holiday. He's going to get hurt. You should have let this guy start. Now he's going into a hostile environment. It's going to be problematic. Kyler Murray's having an MVP season here, all right? And they should win this game on his skills alone. Kyler Murray could be MVP. You heard it here first. I knew you guys laughed at me when I said it during the NFC breakdown, but it's on the table, okay? It's a lot to ask Trey Lance to win this game. Even with Debo going bananas every week, their running game is suspect right now. Is Trey Sermon going to do what he needs to do? Elijah Mitchell, you know what I mean? He's still going against Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. These guys are going to be making themselves pretty comfortable in the San Francisco backfield, and Hopkins and Edmonds will do enough. They're going to star in this one. Take Arizona. Take them with confidence. I know eventually they have to lose a game, and I've seen San Francisco be a walking mash unit and go on the road and win these kinds of games. This is what Spencer and I like to call classic trap games. Do I see it happening, though? No. I think that Cliff Kingsbury is actually winning Kyler Murray's actually winning despite Cliff Kingsbury. He's making Kingsbury look good, kind of the way that Mahomes was making Andy Reid look good. They're good coaches, but these players are the ones that are taking them to the promised land. Take Arizona all day and go to Sizzler. Next, New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. I've been bigging up Dallas. I'm going to continue to big them up because they're doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? We all know they can ball out on offense, but their defense, they're playing fantastic. And that's a huge win for the New York Giants versus the New Orleans Saints. I do not expect it to translate into a string of wins, however, just because their offensive line is in shambles. Dallas is looking better and better each week. And that Giant defense is going to have problems slowing down Dak and company. CeeDee Lamb's been quiet the last couple of weeks. I smell a CeeDee Lamb 3-touchdown game. I smell a 100-plus yard CeeDee Lamb 10-catch game. It's going to happen eventually. I think this could be it. I'm expecting huge breakout from him. Danny Dimes was fabulous last week, and I'm expecting him to play well again, but it won't be enough. Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, they're just simply taking the Dallas defense to another level, and I'm taking Dallas here, and I'm taking them without even blinking. I think they definitely win this game. Again, another potential trap game, but Danny Dimes and the Giants had a trap game that they pulled off last week. I can't see them doing it again. But really quick on Danny Dimes. A lot of people think Danny Dimes is a bum. A lot of people do. I do not. I think there's something about playing in New York that these teams just aren't giving their players enough. Look at what Sam Darnold is doing. You cannot tell me that you cannot see Daniel Jones getting on another team and doing the same thing. Danny Dimes is like a really, really poor man's Josh Allen. He threw for 400 yards last week, and you know he can run all over the field. Yes, he's clumsy, but he's a decent quarterback. I think we need to stop hating on Daniel Jones so much and really look at why the Giants are losing. It's really not because of him this year. Next, Monday Night Football. Carson Wentz and the Colts invading Baltimore to play the Ravens. We finally saw Wentz have a decent outing, albeit versus a very bad Miami team, okay? This is going to have to be a Jonathan Taylor game again. Jonathan Taylor's going to have to eat the clock game for them to get another win, okay? I'm not banking on that happening. Quentin Nelson has a sprained ankle and is day-to-day, which won't help things for Indy. I don't see him playing in this game. Lamar Jackson has been much better recently. I've been hard on Lamar Jackson, but again, like when you show up, I give you your flowers, and he's been playing much, much better. And if they ever get Mark Andrews in the end zone, they're going to be even better. Mark Andrews has to be more involved here. Big body tight end, you just paid him a boatload of money. This guy should have at least 3 touchdowns right now, and he's got none. Look for him to get off the schneid kind of the way Robert Woods got off the schneid last night, and you're going to see them roll. I like Baltimore in this game. I think the run game is going to be a threat. I don't like Indianapolis on the road anywhere. Wentz is going to make costly errors, and Lamar is ascending. Lamar wants that big contract. He had his second 300-yard passing game of his career, which you would think by now he'd have more than just 2. My goodness, but that's not the type of quarterback he is. But you can see that they're trying to push him into that role of pocket passer versus run up the middle and get yourself killed quarterback, which if he can do that, even with all the injuries, the Baltimore Ravens are a legitimate threat. Take Baltimore on Monday night, enjoy a nice meal, have a nice glass of wine, and sit back and watch the black and purple destroy Indianapolis. Now, we're going to take a little commercial break. On the other side of that, it's the best time of the show. The Game of the Week. This week's Game of the Week will feature the Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons like the Bills at my very own Kansas City Chiefs. I've got 2 amazing people coming on. Matt Bound from Bound Town right here in Las Vegas, and my good friend who is a Bills fan, Jordan Kusi, on the other side. Thank you for watching World of Matchups. Stay tuned. My name is Dexter Reed. We'll see you in just a second. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guests, we must welcome in our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, be patient because they are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. Before we go into the Game of the Week, we just want to take an opportunity to congratulate Stacey on getting her pro card at Joe Weider's Olympia Amateurs in Orlando this past week. We know you've been putting a lot of hard work into that. You look fantastic, and it gives people an opportunity to see what being part of Felony Fitness will be all about, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to get muscle, whether you want to just tone up. Stacey Harrison, you are a prime example of turning your life into something amazing. We honor you. We thank you for sponsoring us. World of Matchups and Felony Fitness will always be working well with each other. Welcome back to World of Matchups, everybody, and this is the time of the show that we love the best here, our Game of the Week segment. This week, we are featuring the Buffalo Bills at my very own Kansas City Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, our first female guest on World of Matchups, my good friend, a woman who's been thrown through tables repeatedly, Buffalo Bills fan extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Miss Jordan Kusi. And in the red corner, a man that needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized free world, the mayor of Boundtown, a man that was born wearing a red diaper. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World of Matchups, Mr. Matt Bound. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate having you. I love this matchup, and I love what I think is going to happen on Sunday Night Football, which is going to be an absolute explosion of offensive fireworks. So first things first, we'll talk about the Bills. Jordan, the last couple times Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have played the Bills, the Chiefs have come away with resounding victories in different kinds of ways, whether it was throwing the ball, whether it was running the ball down your throat. A year later, pretty much the same personnel on Buffalo's side. What's going to be different this time?
Well, I think a few things are different. One, our defense has always been pretty on point. However, as a team, I think we've really come together. We are the number 1 ranked defense currently. Jordan Poyer is going to be healthy for this game. We're really going in with minimal injuries, so that's huge. Also, just improvements in our offensive lineup this year, where I think we got stumped by KC's defense in the past. This year, Josh Allen has way more viable options to throw the ball. He doesn't have to worry about running it himself. Our running core has been strengthened immeasurably in the offseason. And with the addition of Sanders we have more targets to throw to. So I think that'll be a key aspect of the game as well.
I like what you're saying, and I like the heat you're bringing, and I like the fire with your colors. A real true fan, albeit I think that's not what will happen. I like what you're saying. Matt, please tell me and all of Chiefs Kingdom, how are we going to stop Josh Allen on Sunday night?
Yeah, so it's real simple. Nothing's going to change. We're going to keep the streak alive. We're going to continue to go in and dominate the Buffalo Bills. Really, I think in all honesty, I think this is going to be potentially a very high-scoring game. If you look at last week, they both put up 40 points against their opponent. The challenge for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be, that defensive line. Can we get pressure on on Allen? If we can get pressure on Allen, it's going to be a very interesting contest. If we can't, I think the Chiefs will have some challenges. I am excited, though, to unwrap a potential new weapon in Josh Gordon. We'll see if he gets any playing time. He hasn't made the 53-man roster, but even if he doesn't catch the ball, if he's on the field, the potential to spread that field and take pressure off of Kelsey and Tyreek and everyone else and get some more one-on-one matchups would be huge for the Chiefs of trying to put some points on the board.
Yeah, the last thing the Chiefs need is another weapon. That's the last thing the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs need.
I think they need as many as they can get.
Yeah, for sure, especially since they haven't been able to really stop anybody on the ground. I'm not sure that most people really fear a guy like Devin Singletary, but Zach Moss is ascending. It'll be really interesting to see how they use him come Sunday night. So, Jordan, you're
real quick inserting. You're forgetting our other running back, which is our quarterback.
Yeah.
So we have 3 out.
But you've had that quarterback in the past, and you've been carved up by the Chiefs. Nothing. I mean, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is.
Sorry.
Tell me what you think your team has to do to. I'm not going to say stop Mahomes, Jordan, because no one can really stop Mahomes but Mahomes. But what are you going to be able to do to slow him down that you guys did differently than last year? What is it different this year versus last year?
I think the number one thing we have to do is watch our penalties. Defensive penalties killed us last year.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoff game. It was horrendous. And then in our first opener of the year this year against the Steelers, the one game that the Bills have lost, defensive penalties played a big portion of that.
Yeah.
So make him earn every yard that he's going to get. Also, we need to keep our momentum all the way through. We need to make sure we are not allowing those third downs to happen. Keep the momentum through the entire game. Keep the momentum through all 3 downs.
Yeah, and I think while it's a tall order, I think it's doable. The Chiefs have played some sloppy football to this point, and I think Mahomes has tried to be Superman at times and kind of the pressure of Kansas City on his shoulders at times sometimes I think makes him do things that he probably shouldn't do, but he can kind of get away with it. But if Buffalo can do that, it's possible. It's possible? I don't think it's probable, but it's definitely possible. Matt, last year in the rain in Buffalo, we watched Andy Reid kind of do some non-Andy Reid things by allowing Clyde Edwards-Helaire to run the ball 20-something times to the clip of like 150 yards. A 5'7", less than 200-pound running back had a field day versus the Buffalo Bills. Is that something that you see Andy Reid implementing again this week, especially since the last couple weeks you've seen CEH now go over 100 yards. He's not putting the ball on the ground anymore. We really want to get his confidence back. Where do you see him fitting in on the offense on Sunday?
Yeah, I think he's a huge part of the offense. I think if they're able to establish the running game, that's going to take pressure off of our front 5. We can do a lot more play action. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire has 100-plus yards and doesn't put the ball on the ground, I think Kansas City Chiefs get a W for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think their passing attack is really what propels them. And so if all of a sudden you allow them to run the ball as well, it could be a long day for the Buffalo Bills. Jordan, let's talk about a player that I absolutely love, who has been on your team now for a while, but he's actually getting his flowers and he's ascending, and I think he could be a huge problem for the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday because the Chiefs do not defend the tight end well. Let's talk about Dawson Knox.
I would love to talk about Dawson Knox. Honestly, last year, he was my least favorite player on the team. I called him feet for hands. He couldn't catch anything. He has been tremendous this year. He has made so many improvements. In the past 3 games, he's had 4 touchdowns and a bunch of yards. I don't know the number off the top of my head. But he is a solid option for Josh Allen now, and he is turning into a weapon. And I'm sorry, I feel like I cut you off and just got excited about
Well, I know you like Knox, and I like Knox too. You know what I mean? I'm not a fair. I mean, when I do my show, I'm Kansas City all day, every day, but I come from it from a neutral standpoint because I just love the NFL. We just love football here at World of Matchups, and so when I see a player growing, it kind of piques my interest. And we need to know who to stop on Sunday.
Right.
We need to know who to stop on Sunday. Let's talk a little bit about, Matt, if there's one player that you absolutely need to see show up on Sunday that hasn't been showing up for KC, who's the player?
Gosh, you know what? I got to move that to the defensive side of the ball, man. I don't know if Frank Clark is playing or not, but if he is, that guy needs to make some plays. We need to help out, Sack Nation. Get some pressure around the corners. We need to. I know you're saying one player, but that defensive line altogether just has been underperforming. We got, 25% of our salary tied up in those guys. It's time for them to step up and make some plays.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like Frank Clark got $100 million for 3 sacks.
You got that right.
And while there were 3 sacks that brought a Super Bowl to Kansas City, I'm starting to question. I'm never a big supporter of giving $100 million contracts to players on the defensive side of the ball. I also feel like that's why they haven't paid Honey Badger yet. And I'm kind of really wanting to be careful to give him that money while he might be worth it. I could see an Eric Berry 2.0 situation taking place there. So that's always something to watch. Jordan, who's the player on your team that you've been waiting to show up that hasn't been showing up that needs to show up Sunday night?
Diggs. Honestly, I know that with the addition of Sanders, Josh has more options to throw to. And I think Diggs has been in a lot of double coverage situations. But he needs to get his confidence back. He needs to get back in the game. He needs to get touchdowns.
Yeah, I said it last year about Diggs. I'm like, don't expect this guy to have the same production next year. I mean, he is a great receiver, and it was a wonderful marriage between him and Josh Allen last year. But to be able to sustain that catch rate in a team that wasn't really a throw-heavy offense to begin with, and now you have the ascension of guys like Knox, Sanders, Singletary catching balls out of the backfield. He's not sneaking up on anybody this year. Diggs is going to get doubled and tripled.
Yeah, I think he was that surprise last year that no one was expecting. But I still think he needs to be in the game a little bit more. And you say the connection with Diggs. The magic of the Buffalo Bills is that it's not just the connection with Diggs. Look at the prom picture Josh Allen posted with Knox 2 weeks ago. Like, there is a family within that entire team. And I think that's something that makes the Buffalo Bills really special.
Yeah, and that's why I really like this matchup too. You know, I had Mark McMillan in an interview here earlier this week, and we were talking about there's certain teams that are just families. You know, Chiefs Kingdom, that's a family. You know what I mean? Bills Mafia, that's a family. Like, you go someplace and you meet another Chiefs fans, you're invited to the cookout. You go someplace else and you meet another Bills fans, you can come over for Christmas. And so these are like very prideful, storied franchises that are going to meet Sunday night, and they have a lot to prove. And I'm here to tell you, like, Kansas City cannot afford to lose this game. The Bills can afford to lose this game. I don't think the Chiefs can. I don't think anybody in the AFC West can afford to lose 2 games in a row, more or less a game the way everyone else is playing. And so I'm taking the Chiefs with Harrison Butker kicking a 53-yarder at the gun. 31-28 is my final. What's your final, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. If the Chiefs can keep the Bills in the 20s, I think we'll win the game. If they start getting into the 30s or higher, I think it's going to be bad for the Chiefs. So with that home crowd advantage, Sunday night football, us needing to get a W, I'm going to say you're looking at a 28-38 game, somewhere in there.
Nice. What do you think, Jordan?
See, I'm thinking that this is going to be a game of defense, and it's going to be on the lower scoring side. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I'm going to take Buffalo 21, Chiefs 17.
Yep. If you're a betting person, you definitely want to take Buffalo. I see a lot of I close my eyes and I just see bombs. I see balls in the air everywhere.
It never works out.
I know, but I see desperation from Kansas City. I see the Chiefs watching what other teams are doing and being like, man, that's where we were last year. That should be us. And I think that a lot of people are forgetting about Kansas City. On our power ranking, Spencer and I have them ranked 8th right now, and I want them to be higher. And I think the only thing that is keeping them from being higher is their defense. If you're saying you think it's going to be low scoring, in my mind, I think the defense shows up. If Frank Clark plays, a big play will be made, and I see the Chiefs winning by 3. So we want to take a time to say thank you to both of you for coming on. I know, Matt, you're in Hawaii right now. Jordan, you're in Virginia, right?
Yes,
we got people coming on World of Matchups from all different time zones, and it is fantastic. We appreciate you guys coming on. Good luck to you both on Sunday Night Football. We look forward to having you guys on in the future, or maybe even in the studio. God bless. Enjoy the games. Guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon. All right, everybody, that was Jordan Kusi and Matt Bound coming to you live and direct from both sides of the country talking about this week's game of the week, the Kansas City Chiefs home versus the Buffalo Bills. Before we end the show, we have to go over our picks for the week. This week, World of Matchups is taking the Jets, the Saints, the Packers, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Touchdown Titans, the Panthers, the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the San Diego Superchargers, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. World of Matchups is all over social media, folks. If you haven't found us yet, take a second and go find us at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and like and subscribe on our YouTube page for all quality content updates being sent right to you in a notification letting you know when we drop stuff. We also have a new TikTok page. Find us at TikTok under World of Matchups. We're doing some fun stuff there as well that you do not want to miss. We thank you for taking the time to continue to support us here at World of Matchups. New sponsor, Lenny King, new goal booster, Lenny King. We thank you for showing it to us financially, and we want to let you know that you have been watching the most progressive and comprehensive National Football League television show to hit the airwaves this year. On behalf of my producer to my right, Spencer the Wiz, Grab It Television, my name is Dexter Reed, and you have been watching World of Matchups. We'll see you next week, everybody. Enjoy the games.